How we all doing today? It is yet again another live stream this evening. Chilling with all my peeps on the Transformer Slag podcast. I am Proto Man for people that are here for the very first time. How we doing? How we doing? It's been a pretty fun week. A lot of cool stuff going on. Black Friday weekend. Cyber Monday later on. Seems like they're just making up a holiday one day after another to spend stuff, to buy stuff. I bought some stuff. I'll show some stuff off in a moment. But yeah, pretty busy week. Pretty awesome stuff. I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Jaws D. It's his birthday today. Longtime member of the podcast. Couldn't be with us today. He is too busy. He's too busy with family and friends. So shout out to Jaws D. It's his birthday today. Anyone who's been to any TFCon or BotCon in the past has seen his lovely mug all over the place. I think he's just enjoying. I think he got Gigawatt today for his birthday. So pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff. So let's jump into it. First things first, it's Black Friday. Black Friday weekend, I guess it's become. It used to be just Black Friday, and now they made it Black Friday weekend, and then we got Cyber Monday. So the question is, what did I get? What did I go out and buy? I didn't blaze the craziness of Black Friday. I didn't bother with it. But I went out today just quickly to help out a friend, move some furniture, and I had to check out a Toys R Us that was nearby because it was a little off the beaten path. Yeah, the camera's reversed today, dogcade. Also, what up, Steven? It's reversed today. I don't know why. I just wanted to have it the other way. I guess because when I look this way, it kind of, I don't know. I'm going to try something different. But yeah, so I picked up two things, only because I felt the value was there. I've been eyeing for a while getting Cyberverse Cheetor, but I just couldn't justify the price all this time. And this guy's been sitting on shelves for what feels like a year now. It's got to be a year if it's not been more. And I've been eyeing him because it's the only version of that character from that continuity. So if there was a better Cyberverse Cheetor toy, I'd look at that one. But this is all we got, pretty much. And I really wanted to get him because I love Cheetor, but I just couldn't justify, paying. Keep in mind, this is Canadian $39.99. Like, I just couldn't. $40 for what is literally like a low-end kind of. I don't even want to call it a deluxe. It's like a glorified Scout with this, they call him here Sea Fury, which isn't even trademarked. They didn't even bother. They named it, but they didn't bother to trademark it, so we're never going to see that name again. This not transformable into a robot mode combiner spark armor battleship, which, because when you think of Cheetor, you think of a battleship. I don't know. Oh, we got a super chat. Super early. What's up, DownrightSuperb? Thanks again for the super chat. Does Hasbro really care about trademarks when they're constantly making new randoms like Slitherfang and Fossilizers? Also, Trail Cutter and Silver Streak renames. Well, to answer the last part first, Trail Cutter and Silver Streak were pretty much because they couldn't get the old trademarks. They couldn't get Trailbreaker in the past. They couldn't get Blue Streak. I talked about it in my Blue Streak segment. I actually made a mistake. I don't know why, the back of my head. I said a Martin Short movie. I meant a Martin Lawrence movie. Around the time when Alternators came out, there was a movie called Blue Streak starring Martin Lawrence, and they just didn't want to use those two trademarks at the same time because it kind of would create confusion. And Blue Streak was, not a family-friendly movie, and Hasbro, was kind of looking at that. But I mean, I do agree with you in the sense when you look at something like BotBots. And just all the trademarks they're making for that. But they do care about trademarks. Primarily, they care about trademarks when it's important characters and intellectual properties that they are. They don't want just anyone using the name Rodimus. They don't want just anyone using the name Bumblebee or Jazz or stuff. And so they've fought for that for years. And I mean, there's court cases about it. It's always been a mess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hasbro does care, but there also is a lot of weird areas. Look, there's a lot of trademarks that they lost because they didn't care about those trademarks. You know, like Tidal Wave is one of those best examples that it's kind of in limbo right now. So we will see what happens. But yeah, so picked up this guy. He was 50% off. So $19.99, which that's Canadian. So American, about, I want to say $15 American. So I could live paying $15 American to get the only Cyberverse Cheetor toy that exists. So, okay, sure, you know, at least I have the, you know, Guardian of the Allspark now, finally. If somehow they make a deluxe version of him in the Cyberverse scale and it's way better, then I'll feel stupid for buying this. But, you know, much like, I think, much like this Windblade here, this is like the best Cyberverse Windblade toy. As sad as that is. And that one I got for I got that for $6, well, $7 Canadian. So that's like about $4 US, which I could live with that. Again, I wait for deals. But that was my big Transformer purchase. Everything else, either I already got cheaper at a later point, or I just couldn't justify the price even at 50% off. Like there was a lot of leader classes that I was just like, nah, I could do better. I was not feeling it at all. But again, thanks again, DownrightSuperb, for the super chat. It's nice to see people doing the super chat thing. The other thing that I got, it wasn't even Transformer related, was I picked up Shy Guy from Mario Kart. Jacques specific is doing more Mario Kart stuff, and it's a nice little Shy Guy. I love Shy Guy. I have a huge collection of Shy Guy stuff. Super Mario Brothers 2, the original Super Mario Brothers 2, not the Lost Levels, the American one. Mario 2 USA, as Japan calls it. Loved it as a kid. Shy Guy was always a personal favorite of mine, and so whenever I see Shy Guy merch, gotta get it. I love his French name. His French name is Mascouche, which kind of is like a play on mask and cache, which means like the hide. So it's like mask hider. Kind of funny. But yeah, imported by Toys R Us Canada. Good stuff. I like that. So I was happy with that. And that too, that was also on special, so had to pick it up. And that was it. That was literally it. That was literally it of the non of pretty much of everything that was there. I wasn't feeling a lot of the other prices. Like, you know, I think the biggest thing that they were trying to unload was their pop vinyl, and that's not my scene. So, you know, if it's your scene, hey, that's great. But it's not my scene. So if you're a pop vinyl guy and you live in Canada, go before this weekend is over. Toys R Us is unloading on a lot of that stuff. But let's get back to what happened this week. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, a lot of news, a lot of different things, and one of the new things that we learned this week was we finally got the date for Earthrise, the Netflix series for Transformers. Oh, Aaron Archer's here. What is happening, robot people? What up, Aaron? So we finally got the new date for the next Netflix Cyberverse series. So 6 months to the day, pretty much. July 30th, 2020 was when we got Siege. Siege was slightly delayed because of obviously the big V and everything. We couldn't get to see it as earlier as they thought. So, and then 6 months later, now we have the date now for this one. So December 30th is going to be a nice little after Christmas, before New Year's, post Boxing Day if you're Canadian, present from Netflix. I hope it's good. I've had my reservations about the previous one. I felt that, there was this and that didn't work for me. There was good and there was bad. I like where they were going. I liked the more grim, dark direction, which shows that Transformers doesn't always have to be squeaky clean. I like that it's being used as a good platform to get people who are not Transformer fans that will look at stuff that's trending on Netflix and use that as kind of a gateway to essentially other Transformer stuff, whether it be toys, merchandising, t-shirts. I mean, look, if Hasbro puts out the series, someone watches the Netflix series, goes, hey, I like that, goes to Walmart and buys a Transformer t-shirt, that's a win for them. That's a win, and hopefully that could even balloon into something else. So that series did very well. It was trending for, I believe, 6 days on Netflix. It was in the top 10, so that catches people's eyes when you have people that are just looking for stuff to binge. This is going to be coming December 30th, so right after people have the holiday season, they're going to be on vacation. They're going to be staying at home more so than they already are at this point, but they're going to be staying home, and this is going to be available for them to watch. 6 episodes. From what I read, it's going to be 6 episodes. From what I've seen, I really just hope that it's good. That's pretty much it. I can't judge something without seeing it, so I'm not going to just completely jump in and go like, oh, I don't like it. The only complaint that I have is thus far from what I've seen in the trailers, no new molds, so to speak. Like, it's just they took the Starscream molds, they turned them into the cone heads. They didn't even give the individual cone head wings and stuff like that. Exhaust is just a Wheeljack retool, not even a real tool. It looks like it's just straight up Wheeljack repaint. And same thing, Bug Bite, that's featured. But I mean, we know there's a few other characters in it. We know that Double Dealer is going to be in it, so at least there'll be some new molds, but nothing that we've seen really thus far. So that's one piece of news that pretty much jumped into our lap. Hopefully it's more than 6 episodes, but from what I'm reading, it's going to be only 6 episodes again. But at least they're 30 minutes. Well, 25 minutes. And hopefully we'll see something cool. Something cool. I mean, probably Scorponok's going to be in it. Probably, always the higher price point stuff finds its way. Same thing, Skylinks will probably be in it. The high price point stuff always finds its way into the product because you got to promote that stuff more than anything else, But yeah. Next thing on the agenda, let's talk about the leaks that were going on, because we had the leaks of all of these guys that popped up. And the one that caught my eye more than anything in terms of a discussion was that of Airrazor's packaging. And I noticed on Airrazor's packaging that all the others, if you look carefully, I'll just pull this up again, all the Autobots and Maximals, they have the Ark in the background. All the Predacons and Decepticons, with the exceptions of Time Travelers and Black Arachnia, have the Nemesis in the background. And yet, for some weird reason, Airrazor has the Nemesis in the background of her stuff. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Is there some kind of story significance there? But it's really interesting that it's back there. Maybe her pod gets found by the Decepticons and the Predacons before the Autobots do and the Maximals, and they don't, reprogram her properly. I don't know, but that's just something I just wanted to point out. I know that people have been pointing out, like, her, her Maximal faction and insignia is on the packaging and stuff like that, but I just found it weird that it's in the background. I wonder if it's probably a story share kind of thing more than anything else. And yeah, I've been upgrading my screen share techniques. I've been testing with new stuff. Guys, every time you do super chat and give money towards the podcast, I'm upgrading every little thing on this end to make the experience just a little more enjoyable for everyone when they come into the stream. Again, it all goes a long way. But yeah, so again, I'm hyped about Airrazor though. It's really cool. Except for, like, I don't know, the color, like the brownish on her shoulders there. I mean, it could have maybe hit it better, but maybe it's the gang molding. It's probably just how it is. It couldn't fix that. Couldn't be changed, unfortunately. But I dig it. I like her a lot, and all the others, man. Like, man, it's gonna be a good year. Look at that lineup. Look at that lineup. That's going to be this is going to be like 2021 for Transformer Toys is going to really knock it out of the park. Really going to knock it out of the park. Next up, so we had a listing that was a giant leak of everything for Wave 2, 3, and 4 of Kingdom. Now, when I discussed this listing, I wanted to pretty much talk about it, not because it was legitimate, but because I like to sometimes when a listing pops up and it really gets momentum, I feel that sometimes it's good to talk about it because that way, in that moment, we have it pretty much time-stamped. Hey, this leak came out at this time. We talked about it. And then if it is reality in the future, we have proof that these listings were legitimate, and it kind of adds credence to that. If in the future a lot of these listings are not legitimate, well, lo and behold, at least we'll know that this stuff was to be taken with a grain of salt and not to be real. So what did we have here? Well, the one that really stuck out to me was that of Transmutate. The discussion that we're going to be getting some kind of Transmutate toy, and she's going to be a Generation Selects Hasbro Pulse kind of thing, really intrigued me. That's a trademark that just fell to the wayside. It was just used for the Beast Wars 10th anniversary. The club used it for one figure, and then that was it from the official, standpoint of what was going on with Hasbro. And now it looks like, again, assuming that this is legitimate, that's pretty hype. I mean, it's that's really cool. The question is now, if it's legitimate, does this mean we're getting essentially a repaint of a fossilizer? What mold would that be? I was kind of having a discussion with a bunch of people, and we kind of went back and forth, and assuming that fossilizers aren't stringently gang molded and you can't mix and match pieces and then sell them like that, which I'm pretty sure most fossilizers are gang molded and you can't do anything about mixing stuff. But assuming that, let's say they take Paleot Rex, as one of them, which I believe here, I think I have an image of Paleot Rex here. One moment. Let's see. So, like, pretty much what is under Cheetor over there. Take that mold, give it Transmutate colors. Kind of, I don't know if you really paint that head really good. It's a rounded kind of head. Maybe if you give those sunken red eyes and really give the gold face, you could kind of pull it off. But, I mean, it's something where, the way that I see it, we could potentially, get a Transmutate figure out of it. That's a possibility. I can't really imagine what else could be done. I mean, the easy one would be, just take the RC mold and just, from Earthrise and just give it Transmutate colors and call it at the end of the day. Oh, they were both voiced by, like, Sue Blue, so maybe that's the connection too, or something. Like, there's a lot of different things. Oh, don't worry, maybe I'm saying Paleot Rex wrong. It's such a weird name. Someone will say it, and then we'll say it correctly. But either way, and again on that list, Leader Class Galvatron was mentioned there. Trax was mentioned there. Scorponok was mentioned there. Waspinator was mentioned. The one that really caught my eye, too, was they were going to take Leader Class Galvatron, this new Leader Class Galvatron, and give it its toy-accurate colors as a Hasbro Selects thing. So there's a lot of talk of a lot of different things. Is any of it legitimate? We don't know yet. We don't know. But again, I just want to talk about it just because I want to be able to put a timestamp of it. We talked about it. And if in the future it's legitimate, then we could go back and go, oh, okay, so this stuff we were talking about was legit. We could take this kind of stuff more seriously in the future now. That's kind of my goal, like with that kind of stuff when we talk about like rumors. because, you know, sometimes there's rumors and I don't want to talk about them because they're clearly fake. And then there's stuff like this, which, you know, makes me scratch my chin and go, there's something there. There's something there. I just want to take a moment, guys, also to say that we're going to be doing a contest later today. We're going to just be doing, you guys answer a question, and sponsored by Symbiote Studios, the makers of our t-shirts, our pins, and our plush of Transformers. Again, the podcast is brought to you by Hasbro and Symbiote Studios. They are the official makers of the line of Transformers plush, which is ongoing. Their next wave, which they're going to be revealing publicly, that hasn't been announced yet. I think it's going to be revealed soon. So you get to see all the new guys that are going to be available from this whole line of ongoing Transformer plush. Each plush comes with a pin. They have a whole bunch of other pins on their website if you're into the pin thing, and you can put it on your backpacks and stuff. Here's their bee. Their bee's my favorite still to this day. I love it. And again, cool pins and everything like that. They also have Soundwave. They're going to have tons more coming down the line. So check them out, symbiotestudios.com. And they are also going to be giving away, along with Hasbro, a gift certificate today to a lucky winner. And all we ask, once again, is that you have a registered email account, a registered address, and a Twitter account in order to contact us. You have to have those three. That's it. We'll get into that later, and we will give away some cool stuff to people. And you get to choose it, which is the best part. So, next piece of news. Since it was Black Friday, Super 7, company that I constantly talk about all the time, I praise them like crazy because I love everything they do. They really target the nostalgia and the kind of stuff that I really dig from my childhood, which is simplistic design, the art form of the limitation of toy design and trying to do something interesting with it. And their reaction line has always been awesome. I love their Street Fighter stuff. I love their Mega Man stuff that they do. I love that they did the Lord of the Light with Jack Kirby's stuff. I mean, I love all their Super 7 stuff. It's so good. And they started doing Transformer ones. And lo and behold, Super 7, we've seen with all of Super 7's other stuff, they love repaints. Like when they did Street Fighter, you saw all the different colors of Champion Edition and all the different Player 1, Player 2 stuff with Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and so on. So no surprise they did that there. When they did their Lord of the Light stuff, glow in the dark, all kinds of repaints. They're the repaint kings of their molds. So when they get Transformers, you know there's going to be repaints. So what did they do? They dropped in our laps pretty much on Friday their Super 7 Black Friday Black Repaint release. And these are exclusive to the Black Friday weekend. After that, they will not be available. And they are really cool, primarily to me because feels racist to talk about black. That's in your mind, buddy. So the Black Friday drop, essentially all these black repaints. You have a lot of Microman homages, and you have a lot of Headmaster's Japanese black repaint homages. And in the case of Megatron, it's an homage to his old Microman Micro Change Walter P38, which, again, Megatron wasn't always silver. He was once a black Walter P38. Same thing with the Perceptor that's black there. That was his Micro Change microscope. I think it was Micro Change 20 was his number. Something like that. Microscope Robo. Created by Yoke-san, one of his favorite designs and molds. So the black repaint of that, pretty much homaging that old Microman toy. Then you have Soundwave. Everyone knows that one. It's Sound Blaster. So pretty much becoming, a more fleshed out character now in recent lore because of Siege. But we have here black repaint Soundwave, which was originally from the Headmaster's 1987 Japanese line, which he really was just a retool of the original Soundwave mold. He could hold 2 cassettes instead of 1 in his chest. And last but not least, probably the most interesting of the bunch, and the one that Jaws D was interested in, no surprise, was that of Stepper. And Stepper being the black repaint of Jazz. He was a Target Master in the Headmaster's toy line in Japan. Obviously, they couldn't give a Target Master with him. it's just how it is. I think it's just because they would have had to do some new tooling and everything like that instead of just doing a straight up repaint. So he just comes with the gun that originally came with the Super 7 Jazz, and that is that. But still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. I dig that they're doing obscure characters, and they called it Stepper too. So that's pretty awesome. They didn't just call it like his westernized name of Ricochet and stuff like that, which I'm not even sure. No, that trademark still exists. They still have the Ricochet trademark. But man, I love those. Those are so cool. Those are so cool. I dig when companies do kind of throwbacks to Transformers' more niche kind of lore with the Microman and Diaclone stuff, with the weird Japanese stuff. I love that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool of them that they did that. Again, super7.com, check them out if you want to pick it up. They're, I believe, $18 each, which is pretty damn good. And unless you're outside of the United States, I mean, shipping is also pretty awesome. Shipping kind of sucks for Canadians, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And last but not least, to talk about what's been going on this week, the 10th anniversary. 2 days ago, it was the 10th anniversary of Transformers Prime. Actually, I'm glad we got Aaron Archer here because he was a driving force behind that. And Transformers Prime was a big deal. Came out quite a while ago. It was August 26th, 2010 on the Hub, on Hasbro's attempted little network, a little too ahead of its time in my opinion. I think they wanted. I think if they would have done a streaming service, but hindsight is 2020. But Prime made its debut, and really, in my opinion, one of the biggest contributions that Transformers Prime, in my opinion, gave to Transformers up to that point was really diving into the religious lore of Transformers history, which is that of the original 13 and Primus. Up to that point, really in Transformers history, you had animated, which, by the way, is still an amazing series, but didn't really dive into the concept of the original 13, didn't really want to do that kind of stuff. And, man, it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough not having that stuff outside of the Marvel comic books, really, from Simon Furman. And it was a really good series. It was a really good series. I like that because they pushed so much to talk about the original 13, to talk about all that kind of stuff, that it led to the Covenant of Primus book, which I have right there. I love that book. It talks more about the origin of the original 13, all their identities, because up to that point, it really was kind of scattered. Like, who are the original 13? Oh, is it this guy? Is it that guy? Oh, is this character from Transformers lore? Is he one of the 13? So it was really, really cool to have a series that kind of dived into that. And then talking about the ancient artifacts, like even building lore, talking more about the Star Saber sword, the Apex armor, all that kinds of stuff, the Enigma of combination, and all those little things. What was the other one? There was the quill of history, and the gears of time, like all those little things that were really cool to see coming from a Transformers series that really, all of that stuff they were talking about was not made to sell toys. Like everything they were diving into, all that lore, all that stuff, it's not like we were going to get original 13 action figures. It's not like we were going to get original 13 role play, ancient Cybertronian artifacts. All that kind of stuff was just there to tell a story and to tell a good story. And I really appreciated that about Transformers Prime. Because everything up to that point was always just trying to sell you toys, and this was trying to be something serious. And again, that series, we weren't the only ones that liked it. I believe it was nominated for like 9 Emmys and won 7 of them or something, which was For a Transformer series, that's a big deal because up to that point, the only one that won an Emmy was Beast Wars, and they won one. So to be able to say that, it's pretty good. But Transformers Prime, though, unfortunately, was not popular everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, even though it was ridiculously popular here in America, in Japan it just didn't see the same interest. And the best way to really emphasize that was toy sales and TV ratings. The ARMS Micron stuff that they were doing wasn't selling well. That kind of leads to the fact why a lot of the ARMS Micron toys are very expensive today, because the secondary market for it is not very strong for Transformers Prime toys in Japan. But also the ratings were just not good. To give people perspective, right? Transformers Prime came out in late 2012 and all of 2013 in Japan. The top rated anime show in Japan in late 2012 to early 2013 was Doraemon, which got, here I have all the numbers here, has an 8.2 rating. That's to just give an idea, 8.2 rating. One Piece got an 8.1 rating. And Crayon Shin-Chan got a 7.9. Those are like the top of the top. But it also gives you an idea of what is considered really good ratings for a show. Now, in Transformers Prime's time slot in Japan, the other shows it was going up against was Gyro Zetter, which was a very similar kind of show that was being done by Konami at the time. Dangball Senki, also known as LBX, Little Battler Experience, which was also another kind of shonen little robot Pokemon kind of show going on. So those two shows were going up against Transform Prime. And another one, too, called Battle Spirit Sword Eyes. I wasn't too familiar with that one. I think it was a card show, that one. And the amazing thing is Gyro Zetter got a 3.3 rating. Dangball Senki W, LBX, got a 3.1 rating. Transformers Prime, 1.9. Battle Spirit Sword Eye, 1.8. So it was really on the lower end. So the ratings were really not good for Transformers Prime in Japan. And they were so bad, the ratings, that Season 3 and Predacon Rising were not even brought over there. They abruptly canceled the series. They let the showrunners and dubbers of the series in Japan let them know that it was going to be canceled. So the very last episode of Season 2 in the Japanese dub has like a monologue, epilogue at the end saying like, oh, by Optimus saying like, well, everything works out and the darkest hour was lit and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, wow, what a way to end it. So, Transformers Prime didn't really find its market in Japan, amazingly enough. Amazingly enough, it didn't find its market. Maybe because the original 13 idea just wasn't as big a deal in Japan. There's a lot of different kind of speculation of what could cause that, but I mean, it's just something that people need to be aware of, that in other places in the world it just wasn't a big deal. But I liked it. It was a really good series. Definitely ranks in like my top, probably I'd have to say like top 5 Transformer series. It's definitely up there. It's one of the ones that I could see a lot of people, if they definitely grew up with it, I could see it being their favorite Transformer series. So, I mean, still pretty cool. 10 years, and look, we got the figurines out of it, the 10th anniversary breakdown, which I told everyone's got to pick that one up. Everyone's got to pick up that breakdown. That breakdown is money. That breakdown is just money. If you didn't pick it up, man, you're going to regret it, because you got a great opportunity right there and then to pretty much to get a really expensive item that would have been a headache to get otherwise. And then they did that Megatron, which, I don't know, that Megatron was kind of odd. But yeah, that's it more or less for everything that was going on this week. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. So what we're going to do a question for the audience, and we're going to pick one person in 15 minutes or so after that. And the winner is going to get something from Symbiote Studios and Hasbro. So the question that we're going to ask today is, and we always ask very easy questions, was who was Breakdown in Transformers Prime's best buddy? And we'll pick a winner. We're going to pick, well, I'll get my mod to pick somebody. And you'll get a nice little gift certificate from Symbiote Studios, courtesy of Hasbro, and you could pick whatever stuff you want from that, and it'll be cool. And they're gonna start. The answers are gonna start flooding in soon. We have a little bit of a leniency delay, but we will see what happens with that. We will see. We will see. Troy Smith, my brother, you won twice in a row, so I know that he's not going to be able to get it, but just try anyways. I actually had to put your name on the list, Troy, just because it's just like, oh, Troy, you won twice in a row by accident. But yeah, so it's one of those things that I just hope maybe we'll see some more stuff of Transformer Prime in the future. If not, I want to see more of the ideas that Transformer Prime did to tell a more serious story, to dive deeper into Cybertronian lore in the original 13. I don't want that to be like a Left Behind kind of idea. I really don't. I want that to be something that people could really like, use as a form of, like, I mean, imagine if we got, and I know like it would never happen, but imagine if we got like a Transformer series that really started at the beginning with the original 13, with Unicron, with the Fallen, with Megatronus, explaining Quintus Prime and stuff like that. It would be a very heavy series. It would have to be, I almost see it would have to be something Netflix related. It would have to be like a made for TV movie, direct to DVD thing. But the market isn't big enough for that kind of obscure stuff from Transformers. And that's why I like Transformers Prime, because it took that risk. And it paid off in some areas, and it didn't pay off in other areas, But yeah, that's it more or less for the news. Aside from that, I don't know. What else did people pick up this weekend? I don't know. I hope that this isn't a crappy figure. I mean, it looks crap. It really does. But and it looks nothing like he does in the show. That's another sad thing too. I find that the Kingdom Cheetor probably is going to do a better job at being your Cyberverse Cheetor than even this one. But it's technically the only one. So we don't have much of a choice, unfortunately. That weird battleship aircraft carrier. Weird stuff indeed. But yeah. What else? I know I got some other stuff too, but it was more stuff in the mail. Stuff from Hasbro's Magic the Gathering. And nothing else too complex, really. I've been trying to complete some old stuff from Magic. Always been a big fan of that. But there was a lot of sales. There was a lot of good sales. I know that, again, even if you don't go out tomorrow for Black Friday and the 50% off stuff with Toys R Us in Canada, or the 25% off stuff with Walmart and everything on specific items, there's going to be some kind of Cyber Monday thing. Something's going to pop up. And actually, I forgot to mention, there's another really good deal that I saw is if you go to, I believe it's Fan Toys, their Minerva, their Masterpiece Scale Minerva's on special. I believe it's $40, which is, I'll be honest with you, is ridiculously cheap for something third party. I think it's $40. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I think it's $40, and that's a really, really, really good price, in my opinion. So it's something. Oh, my mod found a winner. My mod found a winner. So once again, guys, if you want to be a winner, you got to make sure that... okay, he's sending it to me. You got to make sure that you have registered Twitter account, registered email address, and registered mailing address. No P.O. boxes. We cover the shipping, but we need you to have a registered email address, and it's not a P.O. box. Because if you have a P.O. box during the times of the big V, stuff just doesn't get delivered properly. And we don't need that headache. So that'll be that. And the winner of today, which gets a Symbiote Studios, symbiotestudios.com, gift certificate to buy whatever you want, pretty much up to a certain amount, depending on how much Hasbro is going to give us this time around, goes to Brian 2. Brian T-O-O. So, Brian, let us know that you saw. Let us know that you won, that you saw that you won. And contact me through Twitter, @Protoman on Twitter. And we'll get you all the information you need to be able to get your stuff. If you don't, we're going to have to pick another winner. And we have a backup plan. But, so, keep that in mind. Downright Superb got Ironhide and Prowl 2-pack. Yeah, Wendell got his also. He got his Ironhide. He was really happy about that. That was one of his little B-Day presents along with Gigawatt. I don't know, man. Like, I ordered Gigawatt through Amazon, and I'm still waiting for it to come through Amazon. And I'm going to Toys R Us's and seeing them all over the place in person. And I could have just bought it there and canceled my Amazon thing. Probably really should have done that. But, I don't know, man. I really hope Amazon doesn't mess me over. And it wouldn't be the first time. Amazon has canceled on me many, many times. Many times. There's a certain Transformer Tiger Electronic game that got canceled on me, and I was not happy about that at all. Oh, man. Complete garbo. That's Amazon for you sometimes. What else happened this week? I'm trying to think of other stuff that was popping in the world of the robots in disguise. I know that Hasbro has some new news in relation to their G.I. Joe stuff and their crossover stuff like that they're going to be doing. Right now we have that X-Men one that they're talking about. But I know that there's going to be another Fan First Friday, I think, next week. So we're going to find out more from that. That's going to be pretty cool. Did Brian notice it yet? Brian, if you don't let me know that you won, we got to pick somebody else. So that's the name of the game, brother. I'll give you another 10 minutes or so. Oh, Larry's here. Amazon canceled 3 orders on me this year. Amazon, Larry, what did they cancel on you? Was it like Star Wars Black Series? I don't know. It's like, I have Thunderhowl, the Deluxe. It's the last Cyberverse Deluxe I'm waiting on. To finish my McAdams. And that thing's been in pre-order limbo forever with them. So that one's worrying me because I'm worried that that's going to get canceled. And at the end of the day, they're just going to be like, sorry, we just couldn't get it. But the crazy thing is I pre-ordered it like 5 months ago. You know, if you weren't going to get it, why didn't you just tell me then? And then I could have just went with one of the millions of other companies. But we'll see what happens. And then, of course, again, Gigawatt is pre-ordered with them, which I think was a dumb move by me. I should have really just picked up the one in Toys R Us, and that's it. And then canceled that pre-order. Here's what happens when I have faith in a multi-zillion-dollar company that doesn't care about my existence. So, we'll see what happens with that. G.I. Joe, Storm Shadow, and a few Star Wars guys. Yeah, that's the name of the game with them, man. It's just broken promises, Amazon. Broken promises. That's another thing. They even canceled a book on me once. I bought an art book And I was like, it's Amazon. Like, they started their game in books. Like, they're not going to cancel it. And the book still got published. It still got sent to all the bookstores. All the other websites still got it. Amazon? No, sorry, we couldn't get it. Yeah, okay, Amazon couldn't get it. I don't know. I was very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. And it sucks because you do a pre-order with them, and you sit on that pre-order for months. And then the pre-orders close at every other website and every other location. You stick with them, and then in the end, it just doesn't happen. So I suggest personally, if you don't have to go through Amazon, usually pre-order somewhere else, because at least they'll honor the pre-order. I have never had like Big Bad Toy Store or Ami Ami or any other website go like, hey, like we can't get that thing we pre-ordered for you. It's very rare that something like that has ever happened. Or even like Hobby Link Japan, that's another one too. You know, like so many that I've had so much faith in, and they've always worked out in the end for me. So that's another one too. But yeah, that's the way I see it. There's an X-Men art book. See, the books are the ones that worry me, because those are the ones that always got, number one, they always get canceled on, or if they actually ship out the book, they put it in like, if the book is this big, they put it in a box that's this big, they put no padding, and then it bashes around in the box, and then by the time you get to it, like one corner of the book is just like smashed like crazy. 2 Magic the Gathering art books I ordered, and I got that. Stephen Joyce, one of our Patreon members of the podcast, he got Run Amok, Sunstreaker, Hot House, and Bumblebee this weekend. You're lucky to found Bumblebee, brother. Let me tell you. Because, man, that whole wave, eesh, I don't know if I'm ever going to see that here locally. I just want to get Elita 1. That's the only one that kind of really interests me. Bumblebee I'm not too worried about. I feel like we're going to see more of that mold in more of a widespread kind of release. But that Elita 1, I really want to get that one. That one intrigues me. But yeah, it's cool stuff. I just want like if they don't like that Elita 1, I really feel what they're probably going to do is after we get that one, there's probably going to be like a giant wait for like 2 years or 3 years before we see another Elita 1 toy. So it'll be really cool to like pick up that one, because I really don't see them doing another Elita for a while. I mean, I'm just looking right now at the shelving, and yeah, they always wait like between 2 and 3 years before they do another Elita 1. Whether it be like, and again, when I say an Elita 1, I'm not just saying G1, just using the trademark and applying it to something. And I love Elita 1. I even have like her statue from I think it was First Four Figures or Hard Heroes. Like, I love that statue. It was really nice. But we will see what happens with that. We will see. We will see. It's been a crazy weekend otherwise. A lot of crazy sales. You know, the one thing that blows my mind is like, you know, we're still in the middle of the big V and the craziness in the world, and people are still crowding at stores for Black Friday. And it's just me going like, man, like, I find myself now, if I have to go shopping, I kind of go as far away from the city as possible where it's not crowded, and then I do that. You'll wait for TFCon. Well, let's see what happens with TFCon first of all. I mean, TFCon is it's technically, when you think about it, it's 6 to 7 months away, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope. Let's hope. Yeah, let us hope. I miss the convention scene. I miss all the cool deals that could be found. I miss like all the really good like Sunday stuff. Like TFCon Sunday is probably my favorite part of it, because it's all the miscellaneous stuff, and it's also when, you know, the dealers that traveled all this way, they don't want to go back home with a lot of that product. So there's also deals to be found on Sundays. So it's something I'm going to miss. if we don't have yet another one this summer for TFCon Toronto. And doing the parts party. Man, the parts parties. I love doing the parts parties. Those are probably that and the charity auction are probably the two best ways to find Transformers on the super cheap. Like on the super cheap. Because of that kind of stuff. You know, so I don't know. We'll definitely find out what's going on. Hopefully when we get into next year. Too much crazy stuff going on right now. The world is just arguing with each other. That's why, like, a lot of people, they always ask me, they're like, how come you don't follow anyone on Twitter? Like, they're like, oh, you have like a huge following, but you don't follow anybody. And it's because, in my opinion, I think most of Twitter is trash. Most of Twitter is trash. Most of it is just political people yelling at each other. Whether, you know, flavor of the day, anger. And if I follow people, then I have to see that stuff. And I don't need to see that stuff. I think the world is pretty awesome. And there's a lot of pretty awesome people in it. And Twitter is probably the best way to look at the world and just smear it with garbage and say how terrible it is. When you could go out your front door and really follow awesome people. So that's why I don't follow anyone on Twitter. I can't be bothered. Twitter is a tool. It's a good way to keep up with creators that you like, but otherwise, I don't need the negative mojo that comes with a lot of that. So I can't be bothered with it. Aaron Archer misses the cons too. Aaron, we need cons back, especially for all the cool stuff we still need to do. You know? So much cool stuff we still need to do. You need to do, honestly, Aaron, like, I think one of the next panels you should probably do in the future is a deep dive on the creation of Transformers Prime. I think that a lot of people of, like, a later generation now would really dig that. You know? A lot of people would really dig that. Because now, like, there's kids that were like 10 years old when they watched Transformers Prime, and they're in their 20s now. You know, so it's something that'd be really cool. You pre-ordered Spin Out Larry. Oh, I didn't pre-order him. I'd like to get him. He looks really cool. But I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Dogcade says he noticed I was wearing a Optimus Prime shirt. Well, Dogcade. By the way, Dogcade, one of our members, if you notice, Dogcade has a little green and a jazz logo. He's one of the members of the Transformer Slag Patreon and or podcast. You could join with the button below. The shirt I'm wearing is from Symbiote Studios. Symbiote Studios does all the really cool t-shirts. This one is matching the pins that they do. Here, I can pull out some of the other ones they do. Here's their Soundwave. Soundwave Superior. Love that one. And then they got... This is for the Snake Eyes movie. So they got Snake Eyes with Timber. They're all done in the cutesy style. Pretty awesome stuff. They have a whole bunch more coming. And their plush series. They got a whole bunch more of their plush stuff coming. So it's a really cool... I like their shirts. And they're comfy too. They're what's called silkscreen finish. So when you could wash them a million times and it won't affect the quality of it. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. So here's a Nightwing shirt from another company, and it's already starting to fall apart. Silkscreen doesn't happen. Lasts forever. So high quality stuff. Where are we at here? Stephen Joyce, got any extra Elita 1 Proto Man if you want one? I got 4 of them today. Jesus. Stephen. Well, Stephen, I'm going to see what happens. Stephen. Again, I like to wait until retail, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan with the price most Transformer toys are today in retail. I wait for sales. So even if I saw an Elita 1 in retail, it's one of those things where I'll see how I feel. I'll see how I feel if I want to buy it, because between, like, to buy something from a fan and have to pay the shipping and everything, Especially when I know when TFCon's going to roll around, I'm going to see those on people's tables, you know. Aaron Archer said, where is it here? I saw something really good. Prime can get deep into corporate goals. That sounds like an interesting discussion. That sounds like a very interesting discussion. Orlando Chavez, once again, one of our patrons and or members, sporting the awesome Bumblebee badge, says, I got my pins from Symbiote a week back, and I love them. Always get people's attention during Zoom meetings. Yeah. They're really cool. And really, I like, they're big, and they use what's called the clasp, the rubber clasps, which I like those better than metal ones because they don't like poke into you, you know, like when you're wearing them. So I dig these a lot. They're really cool. They have a 2-pack, which I have in the other room, unfortunately. But they have a 2-pack, which also comes with the Autobot logo and a different Optimus Prime, a full-size SD Optimus Prime. They have the Megatron with the Decepticon logo. Those are really good. Those are really affordable ones, and those ones I really dig a lot. The Autobot one I have on my bag, and that's why it's not here anymore. And I love that one. I have it on my card bag. When we used to be able to go to card stores and play our TCGs back in the day. So we'll definitely see what happens with that. But that's cool, Orlando, that you got some pins. They're really cool. Again, like, if you want to, guys, symbiotestudios.com. If you go to checkout and you use the promo code PROTOMAN, PROTOMAN, you get $5 off your first order if you use my promo code. So that also helps you get some cool stuff too. And they have a lot of other stuff. I mean, if you're like Shovel Knight, which is awesome indie video game goodness, like they do a lot of cool plush stuff, a lot of really cool stuff. So check out their website. But like Hasbro's their big name of their game, and they're going to be doing a lot more stuff in the future. I can't talk about it publicly right now, but like there's going to be so much more additions to their plush stuff. That's going to be really cool to see. And it's the first time that we've ever really had a decent Transformers plush line that has multiple waves and multiple characters. And I mean, if we would have had San Diego Comic-Con, we would have had a lot more reveals of stuff. You know, would have had a lot more reveals of cool stuff. But yeah, awesome stuff otherwise. Okay, nice, you got it. Not yet. I didn't get it yet. It's just that if I see one, I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out, man. I will figure something out like I always do. I'm someone that I never really worry ever about missing a figure in retail or missing a pre-order, because I've stood by this many times that literally 95% of the time when you miss a product in retail, it's not the end of the world, and you will probably find it loose complete, probably cheaper in the secondary market for way cheaper than retail. Yeah, there's outliers, and we talk about it in the Transformer Finance videos a lot, where we go like, oh, hey, wow, like that Optimus figure, Bloody Tusks, over there, Bloody Tusks Nemesis Prime recently jacked up in value like crazy. Mind you, he was a Target exclusive, and he was pretty limited, so... But some of the other ones, like we were talking about, well, you can't see it from this angle, but, we were talking about, like, Transformers Universe, Optimus Primal, the Ultra class with the brown colors. I call it Rasta Primal. That one jacked up in value like crazy, but that one took, like, 15 years to get to that price? Took a while for that one to get to that price. Where for him, he was kicking around forever in TF cons, loose on tables for like $5-10. So I don't really worry too much about missing stuff. Like, I'm the kind of guy that I say, like, look, in 2-3 years, let's see how much of that, like, Transformers RED, that non-transforming stuff, how well that's going to age. and how well people are going to want that. Or are you going to go to a TFCon, a BotCon, or your local comic book convention and see those loose in Ziploc bags at a convention? A guy's going to be like, oh, take them off my hands for $5 each. I see that way too often. So that's why I always tell people, like, wait it out. Find your opportunities. There's always sales. If stuff was selling like gangbusters, then it wouldn't be on sale. That's usually the best way to put it. That's why you never see like Pokemon cards on sale, or certain Lego. It's very rare that you see Lego on sale because it always sells well. We got a super chat question. Once again, an awesome donation from DownrightSuperb. Once again, people, if you want stuff talked about here, you got a super chat like DownrightSuperb here. We've had enough of the 13 Primes. I want to see Prime and Megs team up and fight the Quintessons to restore Cybertron after we see the divide. So you'd like to see something that's a merger of the James Roberts kind of pre-war Cybertron mixed with a little bit of what was being told by David Wise, I guess, from, let's say, Generation 1 cartoon. I would assume you want something of that kind of Look, that would be different at least. I would be down for that. Me personally, I just, and you know what, in all honesty, DownrightSuperb, your story would work out because it would be different than what we normally get, but at the same time, we also would be able to have something where we still have those trademarks that Hasbro could use that they always want to keep. If we had a pre-story where Megatron and Optimus team up, you still have a Megatron, you still have an Optimus, and you still have like probably Bumblebee, and you could do a whole pre-story. But at the same time, unfortunately, the same time, what would suck about that is if they did do that so close to, like, let's say Siege existing, we're going to be getting yet another one of those pre-Earth, pre-Cybertronian War kind of stories, where I think that your series could exist, but it would have to be something that's 5 years after, make people collectively forget the stories that were being told and then wait a couple years. It's kind of like how you had War Within, which was an amazing comic book during Dreamwave's run back in the day. You had the War Within comic book series, which explained pre-Cybertron. And then there was a huge gap before we revisited that idea again, whether it be the War for Cybertron video games or the comic books or anything with Siege. So you have to create that gap and make the audience forget the story that you were telling, and then you could retread that same theme again in a couple of years, and no one will accuse you of just being, I guess, creatively bankrupt. And it's not being creatively bankrupt what you're asking. It's something that I would like to see personally, just because it would be different. It wouldn't be the same old Autobot versus Decepticon thing. It also kind of reminds me, for people who haven't seen Season 3 of Cyberverse, kind of what Season 3 was, because you had Hot Rod and his hidden crew against the Quintessons that took over Cybertron, and that was very intriguing. And it wasn't just because, like, we got a really cool black Hot Rod that was like a badass leader and everything, during like a very kind of Matrix, Cybertron hiding from the robots. We got a very different story. Very, very different story. Very, very different story. Orlando wants to know, once again, if you're also part of the membership, you get unlimited questions too. I'd love to see the Transformers universe expand, learn more about the colony world and Transformers not involved in the war. Well, yeah, that was something that the first time we really got that was with the Headmaster series, the Japanese one, where they were like, there was other colonies. Like, early days of the war, some people left. And Planet Master was a thing, and that's where the Headmasters came from. So that was like really, the first time that kind of idea was introduced to us. And that was fascinating because it kind of gave us this platform where if we need to pull in new characters, we have another planet where people could be coming from. And that's where the Target Masters came from and stuff like that. So it was a really good idea. I like it. It really reached its peak in a lot of ways with Galaxy Force, also known as the Cybertron series, because we had all these planets of all these Cybertronians that made colonies and went around and stuff, whether it be Speedia, which was the speed planet, or Gigalonia, which was the giant planet. I'm using the Japanese and the American names here. Or Animatros, the animal planet, or the beast planet, whatever they called it in the English dub. And obviously Earth, and the people that were seated on Earth and everything. And then Planet X, stuff like that. So, a lot of cool stuff. Every time I always turn over, I'm always looking at all the Unicron Trilogy stuff that's all here. Like thousands of Unicron Trilogy toys. And I love Galaxy Force. Galaxy Force was a personal favorite of mine. Very Japanese, but very enjoyable in terms of fresh characters and fresh ideas. And like you said, the idea of colonies, expansion, people who didn't want to be involved in the war. I guess you could say Paradon too. Paradon was another one. Having like Sandstorm be one of those like people who didn't want to be involved in the war. Really cool stuff. And then like Speedia or Planet Speed being involved in Cyberverse. A lot. It's a concept now that comes up a lot more, a lot more in Transformers lore, because it's a lot easier to just show that like here's this like super advanced race. They could turn into space shuttles. They could turn all this kind of stuff. And if there's a war happening, there's got to be people that try to run away from the war. Just like how in real life you have people that run away from a war. Velocitron, that's what the speed planet was called. I call it Speedia. I call it by its Japanese name because I'm such a Nitro Convoy mark. I love Nitro Convoy, so I always go by the Japanese name. Velocitron. Okay. I know that in if you watch Siege, but you watch it in Japanese on Netflix, one of the very first lines is you have one of the characters talk about Velocitron, but in the Japanese dub, they actually say Speedia instead. They actually call it by its Japanese name. So, really, 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 really like that. I like that a lot. That they kind of kept those Japanese ties. But yeah, really cool stuff otherwise. I'm so exhausted today. I'm so tired. I really was burning the candle at both ends. If anyone who noticed, we kind of started the podcast maybe like 2 or 3 minutes late because I was really rushing to put everything together. But otherwise, really cool. Man, there was a lot of cool designs in Galaxy Force or Cybertron. Primus being probably one of the best ones though. But awesome otherwise. That, getting back to what the conversation we had before, where we were talking about conventions, and I think one of the things too that also sucks by not having conventions is the networking that we would have with a lot of other creative people to do stuff, work on comics, work on media. I'm not going to call it early today. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not too tired yet. I'm a little like, ugh. It's been, it was a long day today. And it was just me going like, man, and I got to stream tonight too. Pretty crazy. But, I don't know. Not much else, Not much else. It was a quiet week. It was a quiet week, I think like the really big news more than anything was probably like the Netflix series. I'm excited to see that though. I hope it's good. Oh, and for people that are wondering what the Cybertronian is on the bottom, it just says in Cybertronian, it just says December 30th. So don't worry about that. I think it's chapter 2, December 30th. It says in Cybertronian under there. So it's no secret message or anything. But missed dinner with the voice actors. Man, I got spoiled by that. Me and Jaws D got spoiled by having dinner with the voice actors. I love the voice actors, though. They're such cool dudes. They're such cool dudes, especially David K. David K is probably one of the coolest dudes of them all. Just a chill guy. Dogcade, one of our members, found another Alicon. I guess you were just out right now? You're doing your shopping, Dogcade? I haven't found many new Earthrise stuff. Like that image that I posted where I found all of those. I had dinner with you. Aaron, I have dinner with you as much as possible. I remember, Aaron, you asked me to go eat once. And then I said to you, I think I said something like, "Oh, I'll see if I have to do something." And I was being serious. I was like, because I was worried that maybe I had to do something with staff stuff. And then you're like, "Well, if you don't want to eat with me, just say so." But I was being serious. It's just sometimes on the Friday at TFCon, there's always all kinds of deconstructing of stuff that has to be done. But it's fun hanging out with you, Aaron. It's always fun. It's fun to pick your brain because there's still so much to uncover of the seedy underbelly of Transformer creative that I always like to know. But we have to have you back on the show. I want to have more guests on the show, and now that we could do like the 2-screen thing and all of that, like I want to have like what would be really cool if you would be able to do it, Aaron, like to record you drawing while we're doing the interview. Like it doesn't have to, the camera doesn't have to be on you. Just have it like on an easel and have you just drawing while we're talking about Transformers, because I love showing people how they could do the creative process. You know? I love like just, it's something that I could draw, but I can't draw well. I don't use that side of my brain. You know, it's like some people, I feel their ability to draw is a God-given talent that they were that kid. You know, there was always that one kid in grade school or high school that could, see something and draw it really well. And then there's some people that kind of learn how to draw. And, I was more the one that learned how to draw rather than a God-given talent. And see, you're drawing now. See, well, that's why. Wouldn't it be cool that while we're talking, we could see you bringing some of your art to life and creating interest in that art? I want to have Josh Perez, one of the greatest colorists of all time, on. Alex Milne, one of the greatest artists of Transformers of all time, on. I want to have Matt Moylan and all his wackiness and the stuff that he does. Andrew Griffith, want to have that too. So we will see. We will see. We'll see what happens. Armada Starscream on the board. See, wouldn't people would love to see that. People would love to see you drawing Armada Starscream and bringing that to life. Seeing to me, it's always fascinating to see different artists and where they start when they draw a character. Like guys like Todd McFarlane, how they usually start with the collar area and the head before they move to the body. Or guys like Rob Layfield that people make fun of, but I like Rob. It starts more with like the torso area and then builds outward and ends with the legs. Like it's to me, it's always fascinating to see how people draw characters and where they start and what details they focus on before they move on to a different part of the drawing. It's always fun to watch that. Yeah, I miss Larry. I miss doing our local shows so much. Here's one of our old flyers. One of our old flyers for one of our old shows, High Score Con, that I run. I run a lot of conventions in Montreal with Larry. Cool Larry here. And I just miss those. I miss doing those too, just because what I miss about those shows is I don't have a lot of time to hang out with people, like all my local friends. And sometimes the only time I ever really have time to hang out with those guys is at conventions. No, Andrew Griffith. It's not Andy Griffith. Andrew Griffith is a very talented artist in the Transformer world. And he does a lot of Japanese projects and stuff that are pretty cool. Even Dave's show. Yeah, like Montreal Toy Con. All of those are in the toilet right now. It was sad, actually. I think I said this last week on the stream. I was driving by one of the local card stores that I didn't play there, but I'd pop in there once in a while to pick up, like, you know, sleeves or stuff like that, because they didn't really play old school Magic like I do. And I just drove by there last week and they were out of business, and it was just like, damn, you know, it was like, oh man, like, I hate seeing that, because I know for a fact that that store would not be out of business if it wasn't for what happened in the world. Like, because every time I would go in there to buy stuff, it was always packed. There was always tons of people in there. Unless those people weren't buying anything, they were just there playing or something. But, you know, because me, I like my Dex binders, which are probably like, and this is not a paid advertisement. It's probably my favorite binders to use for trading cards, because they're like a humidor. They're like really like, ooh, fancy with velvet and everything. And I love Dex binders. And that store was one of the few stores that actually carries them. Because otherwise, to order them online and have them shipped to Canada is murder. So to see them go down, man, that just made me not happy at all. And I remember I was in my car, I looked to the left, was driving by. Larry knows Gamers Cafe, Larry. That's the one that went under. I was driving by on the way home. I look to the left. I see alloué, which is French for rent, meaning they were closing, they're bankrupt. And I just looked forward and I was waiting at the light and I'm like, damn. And I'm worried because also some of my favorite restaurants are probably going to go under when this is all said and done. Not cool. And I dropped the cap for my water. But yeah. We're going to try to get through all of this, people. We're going to try to get through all of this. Hopefully, you know, the one thing that I'm very confident with, and I say this to all my dealers at the conventions too, is when this is all over, when this is all done, it is going to be like a renaissance. I'm telling you, like, people are going to be so happy to be free to go out again that clubs are going to be making more money. Restaurants are going to be making more money. Conventions are going to be making more money. Stores are going to be making more money. I think that people are going to have such a greater appreciation for being able to go out and be social that when that finally becomes a thing again, people are just going to do it in droves. Like it's like Dusty Rhodes, the famous Southern wrestler, used to say, "You cannot miss me if I am not gone." And it's the same thing. You cannot miss something if it's not gone. And going out to restaurants with friends and sitting down and talking and hanging out has been gone for a while now. And it's something that, there was this really cool, it was no joke, a Mexican restaurant that the whole theme of the restaurant was luchador wrestlers. And it's called Escore or something. I'm butchering the Spanish name of it. Escore. And it's just, man, like, I wanted to go to that restaurant, and then 2 weeks happened, and then the big V hits, and everything got closed. Oh, Toys on Fire is done too, Dave's store? Oh, damn it. That one hurts. Because that's been around for like 30 years, that store. MD Connection, before it became Toys on Fire. You're talking about the one that's on Van Horn Street? Damn. Stupid. I don't even want to say the stupid Big V. God, it's ruining everything, man. Damn. Damn, really? MD connection is gone. Man, I got like my first Dragon Ball figure from there. I got, could barely see him, right there. It's the Robot Masters Jetfire. Or actually, I think it was called R-Saber, but I call him Jetfire. I got him from there. Damn. That sucks to hear. That sucks. I'm worried a lot. Like, there's a lot of barcades here too. I don't know how they're gonna survive this. But the one thing I feel, again, I'm trying to see the bright side of it. When all of this is over, I think stores are gonna pop up. I think that there's gonna be such a new renaissance and influx of people spending money and going out that the guys that went bankrupt might come back, and the guys that that died out, they might come back. I mean, I hope so. I really do. That, man, MD connection is gone. Damn, that sucks. That sucks, and it's crazy because while on all the retailers that I don't care about, they survive. All the ones that were deemed essential services. Just because they sell lemons, even though that's such a small percentage of what they actually make, and what actually makes them money. I think, but again, I really do think that when this is over, there's gonna be like this power vacuum for retail and like small retail, and people are going to fill that. And I mean that from and when I say retail, I also mean like restaurants, like all kinds of stuff, bars, all the guys that got, wiped out, and all that empty rental space that's going to be opened up and everything. It's going to lead to people finding new locations. Because again, think about it, the renters, they're going to be desperate to rent. So new business is going to come in, and then we're going to have a renaissance of that. And it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really, really cool. I really hope that there'll be new stores, and I don't know, 2023. I don't know what year it'll be when this is all, said and done. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises to anyone that everything's going to be okay, but I'm not going to say that it's the end of the world either way. But we'll see what happens in the future. I think, if one thing didn't get affected, it was the toy market. We survived in the sense that for years before all of this happened, we were already buying a lot of our stuff online. It was already becoming a part of our DNA of purchasing. We were already getting used to something comes out, pre-order on Big